Magandang hapon. Ito ang NewsWatch Plus rolling coverage ng ikatlong State of the Nation Address ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos. Ako si Lois Calderon. Patuloy po ang pagtanggap namin ng inyong mga comment at inyong mga sana sa SONA through our social media platforms. Makakasama natin po ngayong araw ay si Executive Director ng British Chamber of Commerce of the Philippines, Chris Nelson, mula pa po sa Portugal. Chris Nelson? Hi, good morning.
Good morning.
To that side of our globe.
And good afternoon to the Philippines, and thank you very much for inviting me to speak.
Yes, big day indeed here in Manila. Now, first up, you've been in the Philippines for over 2 decades now, and I've known you since you led Philip Morris Fortune Tobacco here in the Philippines. That long, you know. Now you're at the helm of the British Chamber of Commerce, which groups brands like Shell, PruLife UK, HSBC, Range Rover, and things like that. What do you expect this time from the President's SONA?
So we've seen a lot of developments. I think, first of all, and very key for us is obviously on legislation. One of the bills that we've pushed very strongly for is the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Act, which we think is very close to signing. So we'd like to hear all of that to be noted as signed. We'd like to commend also that just before the signing, before the SONA, you just signed in a key cybersecurity act, which was the Anti-Financial Account Scamming Act. So congratulations for that.
Yes, that was signed over the
In
weekend.
terms of the overall SONA, yeah, please continue.
Yes, that law governing online scams has been signed into law by President Marcos over the weekend.
Yeah, so we're very pleased with that. That's one of our key focuses and our members is cybersecurity. There is another pending bill called the Cybersecurity Act. In terms of other activities, what we'd like to see, of course, is further discussion on opening up the ownership to foreign investors, removing the restrictions in various areas, public utilities, etc. We also want to hear more about the ease of doing business. This has always been a key issue for our investors. We are an ARTA champion, and we'd like to hear more about e-commerce and digital payments, all of which we think will strengthen that. So those are the areas that we are interested in terms of overall to induce more foreign investment into the Philippines.
Okay, you've given us already a rundown of some of the laws that you want passed, and there are actually more bills that I'd like to discuss with you. But before I get there, there's another question. Can you give us an assessment of the business climate the past 2 years since President Marcos rose to power? Has it changed in a meaningful way for European investors? And did that investor appetite translate to actual FDIs or foreign direct investments from that continent, especially after Marcos' official trip there last year?
Look, I think the atmosphere has improved overall. However, I would also say that the Philippines is obviously part of the global economy. And one of the key challenges to the Philippines, along with actually the United States, the UK and Europe, has been inflation. And I raise that because obviously interest rates with Banco Central are over 6%. In the US Fed is still at over 5.25. That's the same as the Bank of England. So why do I raise this is until inflation starts to tail down and those interest rate cuts, that also impacts overall investor appetite and so forth. In that context, we've been working with the Philippines in terms of food inflation, which is a key factor in the supply, particularly of export of UK pork. So I raise that in the context of the economy overall. However, I do say that the atmosphere for investors has improved. I think it can continue with a reduction of further restrictions. The visit of President Marcos to Europe has definitely assisted. And now, of course, we have a new Labour government in the UK. And this is the 78th year of relations between the two countries. And trade and investment between the UK and the Philippines is at an all-time high of £2.8 billion. So
Okay, that's
yes, I believe it has improved, and we look forward to further developments.
okay. That's in terms of trade. So you're talking of import, exports, and I understand too that the British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines has been championing the import of British beef. Can you tell us more about that part? Because there's also a law that's part of the LEDAC list that has to do with agricultural imports.
Yeah, so look, what we've done actually, the number one growth for us actually has been pork. And the reason is that the Philippine pig herds, sadly, were obviously badly affected by the Asian swine fever. And this is now obviously leads to shortages, and that's been made up by supplies from the UK and other countries. So, for example, exports of pork are up this year by over 20%. Beef, unfortunately, is under temporary ban at the moment. We're anticipating that will be removed. We have an event coming up shortly at WOFEX, the World Food Exhibition, which will be on the 31st of July. We have an event with our partner, the Agricultural Horticultural Development Board. Now, regarding the local sector, we believe in working strongly, which is why we're key advocates of the Anti-Agricultural Economic Sabotage Bill, which will protect both the local sector and also legitimate importers and assist exporters to continue to thrive. So we're very keen to hear, and we think that bill is close to being signed. It's passed both houses. So yes, we're looking forward, and we work obviously also with the Department of Agriculture, and we have an event where Undersecretary Severanos is going to attend.
Now, Chris, I believe the British Chamber has also worked with other business groups to represent the private sector in the Legislative Executive Development Advisory Council, or the LEDAC. Now, we've already discussed earlier some of the laws that you have supported, including the law governing online scams signed over the weekend. Is there any other bill that you want this Congress to pass in a year's time before time runs out?
Sure. I mean, as I said, some are close to doing already. We'd like to see the E-Governance Act. We'd like to see digital payments. We want to see a bill encompassing foreign restrictions. That's a large one, actually. If the removal of foreign restrictions on foreign ownership has been a key issue of many business groups. And the other thing I just want to stress here, Lois, is the fact that we are constantly advocating for British companies to invest and trade and do business in the Philippines. And of course, they compare themselves with other opportunities in Southeast Asia. So we're constantly having to promote. The Philippines has great advantages, but if that can be backed up by legislation, and part of e-commerce and digital payments is linked to ease of doing business. And I think ease of doing business and the work done by ARTA is very important. This has been a constant message, particularly for small to medium-sized companies. So in summary, removal of foreign restrictions, e-commerce, digital payments, further steps on ease of doing business, and of course, announcing the passage of the Anti-Agricultural Act. And if I can just emphasize again on cybersecurity, this is a major concern across the world. We've just obviously seen IT outage from an upgrade from the supplier to Microsoft. But linked to all that is that cybersecurity will be a continuing issue across the world. The Philippines recognizes that. We applaud the recent signing of the Anti-Financial Scamming Act, but we also want to see the Cybersecurity Act passed. It's been a key focus of our members and also the work of the British Embassy.
Well, of course, espionage. The British is known for its espionage. Well, you have a long laundry list there, wish list for this current Congress before we'll see a new roster of lawmakers. Thank you so much, Chris Nelson, Executive Director of the British Chamber of Commerce in the Philippines. At abangan po ang aming continuing coverage dito sa NewsWatch Plus kasama ang aming buong news team. At mamaya lamang si Tristan Odalo at Menchu Macapagal. Ako si Lois Calderon.